Look, I wanted to just congratulate you as you're getting that set up. I mean, you can tell even by convening this program here today that clearly you're developing as a student group the kind of skills that employers are looking for, the kind of initiative, all of the things that have been spoken about by the most recent panel. Just I guess before I start, I wanted to just remind you that, or reassure you I suppose, that the study clusters represented by the two of us here today work really closely together. Firstly, we have a Commonwealth, State and Territory International Education and Training Forum, so we meet together on a regular basis. The student voice is at the centre of that. All of us through our various advisory panels have international students represented on those. So for example, Domi is our representative on the International Education Advisory Board for New South Wales. Beechey was in that role prior to Domi, so really your voice is at the centre of what we do, and the reason we're here is essentially for you. So I wanted to just reassure you of that. Our strategy is essentially based on the student cycle. So we start with the welcome. When you check into a hotel, if that is a good experience, usually you're going to be happy. If that first experience is bad, it's hard to recover. So that's why we co-fund, I should say, with all of the international education sector here, the International Student Welcome Desk. It's run as a formal work integrated learning program, so training is provided, but it allows you as an international student to greet other students arriving. We work with the City of Sydney, we work with other councils on formal civic welcomes, as I know happens all around Australia. It's important that we get that first hello right. The other thing that we focused on is obviously your safety and well-being. If you are not safe, then there's no point focusing on anything else. So we work really closely with New South Wales Police, with Surf Life Saving New South Wales here, because we know unfortunately international students are overrepresented on some of those tragic accidents that occur. So that's about getting the message out early. We also provide that free legal service to international students through the Redfern Legal Centre. That's a partnership that's been going now for 3+ years, 4 years I think. So any international student can get free legal advice when they are here. Even though your institution might offer it, you might want to get that independent advice. Another key part of what we do is really trying to draw in the local community and draw those links between you and the local community, because sometimes there's a lot of misunderstanding. So what we try and do through the International Student Awards is to highlight those connections that you students are already making into the broader Australian community through your volunteering and other contributions you're making to our society when you're here. We just had our International Student Awards at Government House a month ago, Toshi, I think it was. Yeah, and so we had some fantastic winners there. The other thing which you probably don't know about is we fund a partner project grants program. So this institutions and business organisations can submit proposals to us to co-fund partner projects. We've been running those for since 2014, and we've run 37 projects so far for 1.4 million from Study New South Wales and 5.5 million contributions from business and institutions. And they're all about you essentially, and a lot of them increasingly are in this employability space. They're about trying to run initiatives that will give you the kind of skill sets that you need to really deliver on the things that were spoken about in the previous panel. We're just about to announce our programs this month, actually, so watch this space on those, because there are some you can get involved with. In May of this year, we launched the International Student Business Charter. So we spend a lot of time talking to businesses, explaining what the 485 visa program is, what are the advantages of employing students. But what we want to start doing is showcasing those businesses who are employing international students, what benefits they are getting from those and what benefits the students are getting from those. So we had 12 inaugural signatories. So after it was signed and started being published, we had a lot of businesses approach us saying, hey, we'd like to sign up. We said, sorry, you've missed the boat. Come back and talk to us next year. So we're starting to create a bit of competition. And I'll talk a little bit later about some of the promotional outcomes we've had from that. So the final couple of slides, just to give you a sense of how you can get involved. Glad you're here. I'll cover off on this in the Q&A, because this is about what the employers have told us through the through the feedback that we've got from them in terms of the business charter. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Peter. It was a very detailed presentation. It just, I think I have to improvise my questions at the end because it literally covers everything that I was going to ask. But anyways, that's a good point. So, just without any gap, I would like to invite Angela to just present.
Thank you. Before I start, does everybody know where Perth is? Because would you still know where Perth is if CISA wasn't there this year and if your President Ahmed wasn't studying in Perth? I think that's a big question anyway. You do all look a little bit tired, but I'd like to remind you that I woke up at what was 3 a.m. Perth time this morning, so you've got no excuses. I'm going to talk a little bit differently today. We do a lot of similar things to Study New South Wales, but I'll be talking specifically about our Employability project. It would be silly of me not to bring this up. So we had some great news come out of federal government on the weekend, or on Friday, and Perth has been reclassified as a region for migration purposes as well. So this is fantastic news for international students who are looking to come and study in Western Australia. So we're ready, we've been ready for a while, we've always been willing, and now we are able to increase our numbers of international students as well. So this will include the access to an additional year in Australia or the post-study work visa, and also have improved access to migration visa through point systems as well. We want the students to acquire authentic, real-life and practical experiences, and this is all throughout the entire student life cycle as well, so it's actually prior to even arriving in Australia to study. So we've got 4 different vendors within this one platform. We're not developing this from scratch. We've gone out and found the experts in the industry, and you'll hear more from some of them today. But I'll show you a little bit about each. So we've got the My Career Match, which is a profile questionnaire, and we ask a few things. It will then send through a PDF and give you a bit about your personality map and what kind of learner you are. And then we'll give you some suggested careers as well, which will link through to real-life courses that you could look at studying. There is the Navitas Professional Virtual Internships. Again, I won't go too far into it, but we have purchased 4 different programs from them. So we've got the generic program, which will assist with job searches, job applications, and workplace health and safety. That's the business one, sorry. So there's business, which will help with business meetings as well. There's a health section, and STEM, which also adds in the innovation, project management, and roles and responsibilities within the sector. So once you do decide to arrive in Perth, the Welcome to Perth app is unlocked, and you can go through, and it's gamified. There's a 10-step sequence, and you can actually win prizes from completing this as well. Prizes may be that you get money towards attending events, networking events that go in there. It could be vouchers for tourism activities, a local burger place, anything like that. There is the buddy program, which is very, very important. So it helps students and the mentors. So students, it will enhance their transition experience, and mentors, it will actually help with leadership. So this goes back, and it's a full circle there. So they will be taught how to coach, and they'll be supported with the frequently asked questions there as well. Any extracurricular activities can be put into the Global Skills Passport, as well as what you are studying at your institution. So you can include things like different modules that you've completed through our own portal, but also if you attend a skills seminar, something coming along to this today, you could add that to the app. So there's lots of different things that you can build in there, and you can take that on your entire journey and right through post-study. There's the Successful Intern and Job Readiness Program, where there are 10 online modules, each with 4 to 5 units within there as well, and that will help you with the skills for going into the Australian workforce, enter back to your home country workforce, or applying for an internship program. Sorry, I'm racing through this because I'm worried about time. So phase 2, we're looking at increasing the services. We know that post-study is a really important part, and we are looking to split that into returning to home country and entering the Australian workforce, both very different. We're looking at bringing a well-being aspect right across the board, so from pre-arrival, and making sure that international students have the support that they need before they actually get to Australia. and also integrating it to our student hub, which, as I mentioned, is opening next year. Thank you. And if you're ever in Perth, I will have a coffee with you as well. So.
Thank you so much, Angela. It was, again, an amazing presentation. And in respect of time, and as I can see that everyone is looking for lunch, we will just go for 2 questions today. So my first question will be basically the international students that are coming to Australia, how would basically they can relate and they can work with the employment services or the organisations?
So I think it's going back to what the first panel was saying, completely hit the nail on the head. So networking and actually getting your name out there. Part of what we are going to integrate into the portal as part of phase 2 is a internship and graduate jobs network as well, so that we can connect with employers, make employers understand why it is important to enhance their own global capabilities within their own business, which I think is one of the biggest issues, is getting businesses on board, but giving students a centralised place to help find employment as well. But I think it was Sally that was mentioning the story about making yourself aware and going out for a coffee with somebody. I recently was recruiting for 2 positions within Study Perth, and there were a few international students who applied, and some of them, after they were unsuccessful, unfortunately, but they reached out to me and they actually wanted, 2 of them wanted to come and have a coffee and learn about my own career. And yes, it was very flattering. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And throughout that conversation, I worked out that this graduate actually was looking for, from his goals, he wanted to work in a marketing agency. So I connected him up with the marketing agencies that I know. He's connected up with now Hudson, a local recruiter in Perth, and they've got him on the books and they understand that he's really, really keen to get a job. And now he comes along to all of our events. He was speaking to the head of international education. So there's a lot going on, and I really think it's just introducing yourself to people, making it clear what your goals are as well, because if you are just applying for everything, you probably won't get to something that you're going to be happy with at the very end. So.
And look, my advice would, on top of all the other things that have been said, which I agree with, if you're in a post-study situation, my advice would actually, and you're here, I would get out of Sydney. I would go to a regional area. If you're doing accountancy, for example, or if you're in hospitality, there are so many opportunities, and you might think, there are no jobs in regional New South Wales. It's actually not the case. I mean, places like Port Macquarie have got a really strong, growing hospitality sector, hospitality and tourism sector, as does the South Coast. And I think, Sydney's very competitive. I know students are drawn here because you think there's going to be a great chance to find work, but it's highly competitive. And the reason I think a lot of international students miss out on jobs is because you don't know the hidden language. You don't know the kind of non-verbal cues. You don't know about the handshakes and the eye contact and the things that you should say and the things you shouldn't say, and the thing is, and you don't learn that at an institution. You learn that in the School of Hard Knocks, and you've got to get out there. And I think living in a lot of these regional towns are actually, embracing international students because they realise that they are a key to them growing. They can't find skilled people. So I would get out of Sydney, to be honest with you, because when you've got, and then after a year or 2, you've got that to be able to come back and demonstrate, and you've also got all those kind of soft skills that you're not getting if you're not getting out there and getting into the real workplace. So that's just my tip. Or go to Perth, or they're regional now. So get out there and just, if you can't get what you want here in Sydney, spread your wings.
Thank you so much for the answers, and I think so that I do agree to basically what both of the panelists said, that sometimes you need to sort of do internships, and sometimes volunteering is a very good way to get yourself involved. And one of the reasons I'm being here is that I was basically a volunteer at the Sydney airport at a welcome desk. So I think so that small steps basically makes you who you are by the end of the day. So wrapping up with that, I would like to thank both of our panelists and for their time, and thank you so much for being here today.